Hi, this is the second of online pattern making system course, online pattern making course that I am uploading. This is the second video, and in this video we are going to be making this. This is a basic body block with a shoulder dart and a waist dart, and we're going to do it professionally. The same method I'm going to use to do it in this video is the same method I'm going to use to do it using a CAD pattern making system. So it is good that you watch this video and learn how to do it manually, so that when we are doing it using a computer aided system, a completely free, a computer aided system, or a completely free pattern drafting online software, it will be quite easy for you to follow. So go ahead, first of all, click the link below this video and download your measurement sheet showing you exactly the measurements you are going to be using to be able to create this our basic block with shoulder dart and waist dart. You also have pictures showing you how to do those measurements. So that is the first thing you need to do. So go ahead and do that, and then come back to the video. Once you have clicked the download link directly below this video, this is what you're going to get in the download. You're going to get a body measurement worksheet for this basic body block with shoulder dart. These are all the measurements you're going to need for this exercise. And you can put your measurement in inches, or you can convert it to centimeters. I'm going to be using centimeters. Even though I have my measurement in inches, I've also converted it to centimeters. So once you download, you can go ahead and do the same thing. Put your name, put your date, and file it. That is for you. And you're also going to get from the download different pictures showing you how to carry out each of those measurements. So I will advise you, the first thing you need to do is to try and download this. Click the link directly below this video, download this package so that you can follow me step by step as I carry out this pattern drafting of a body block with a shoulder dart. To start the project, the very first thing you need, of course, is your measurement, or the measurements you're going to be needing for this project. These are my measurements in inches and in centimeters. You're going to need a pattern or paper, scissors. You're going to need your transparent ruler. My ruler is in centimeters. If yours is in inches, it doesn't matter, as long as you have your two measurements already in place. Of course, you need a French cuff. You need a sellotape. You need a 2D pencil, and you need a marker, or you can use a red biro. If you don't have a marker, you can go ahead and use a red biro. You need a hip curve, and of course you need an awl and a pattern notcher. So let's go ahead and start. So first of all, cut your pattern paper measuring 24 width and 24 length. Fold the paper into two, making sure that the folded side is away from you. 2 inches from here to here, draw a line across the paper. When you've drawn your line, let's label this particular point A. From that 2 centimeters, you're going to measure your full front length measurement. Mine is 19 inches, that is 48.3 centimeters, and I'm going to mark it as point B. I'll square a line from here across the paper with, this is going to signify the waistline. Now take your bust arc measurement. Please refer to the download to see how you can take your bust arc measurement. And you're going to place your bust arc measurement from B, measuring it from B towards this direction. My bust arc measurement is 10.5 inches, and that is equivalent to 26.7 centimeters. And I'm going to mark that point as point C. So we now have point A, B, and C. Join line point C to the A line, and we are going to call this particular point point D, and this line will serve our center front line. On the upper line, measure your front neck width and then mark it here on this upper line. My front neck width is 7.6 centimeters, as you can see. From the center line, mark it there and label it as point E. Then measure your high point shoulder to collarbone and mark it from point E down. Mine is 3 inches, and that's equivalent to 7.6. And then you will add 0.3 centimeters and then mark the point here as point F. Then square a line from F to the center front line and mark it as point G. From your point G, come in about 1/4 centimeter, and that is 0.6, 1/4 inch rather, that is 0.6 centimeters. And then we are going to mark it as point H. I'm taking this very slowly, step by step, so it's quite easy for you to follow. And the reason we are giving it all these alphabets is so that in my next video, when I'm going to be doing the exact same thing using a CAD, computer aided design, it will be very easy for you to follow. Then use your French curve and then connect E to H to form your neckline. Get your eye point shoulder to bust apex measurement and then measure it from point A to here. Mine is 27.9 centimeters, and I'm going to measure it there. And then using your ruler, square it across to your center front, and that is going to be your bust level. And then on the center front line, you label it as I, point I. And then label this place as your bust level. From I, get your bust span measurement, measure it and mark it as apex. Mine is about 4 inches, that's about 10.2 centimeters. And then using your ruler, square it down to your waistline. Mark that as point 1. This will serve as the center line of the front waist dart. Now coming down to point B, you're going to come in by 1 inch, that is 2.5 centimeters, and I'm going to label that point J. And now I'm going to measure from point J to the center front point C, and I'm going to write down the measurement. From my point J to point C is giving me 24.3 centimeters. 24.3 centimeters, I will write it down. And then I'm going to take my front waist width. Once again, refer to the download to see how to take your front waist width. Add 1/4 of an inch to your front waist width. My own measurement gives me 20.9 centimeters. I'm going to subtract this 20.9 centimeters from my J to C measurement, which is 24.3. That gives me 3.4 centimeters. Now that 3.4 centimeters, I'm going to divide it into 2. That means I'm going to have 1.7 centimeters and 1.7 centimeters to make up my dart intake. The next thing is to connect the darts to the apex. From point J, measure your side waist length and slant your ruler to meet exactly where your side waist length is. Mine is 24.1, as you can see. So I'm going to mark from J to this point. That is my side waist length. And that here is my point K. At point K, come in at about 1/4 of an inch. That is 0.6 centimeters. And then from point K, we are going to measure our armhole depth upwards. That is from point K. We are measuring our armhole depth from shoulder. My armhole depth from shoulder is 17.8 centimeters. And I'm going to mark 17.8 centimeters right there. And I'm going to label it L. L. Then I'll come in 1/2 inch from point L. 1/2 inch is about 1.3 centimeters. Now when you come in by 1.3 centimeters, that's about 1/2 inch. You label that point as point M. And then we're going to connect from point M to point E, right here. We're connecting from point M to point E. And then we're going to find the center point between points M and E, and we're going to mark it as the center point for our shoulder dart. We'll label that center shoulder point where we're going to have the center of our shoulder dart. We label it as 2, and then we're going to connect that to the apex. So we're going to connect it from here to here. Now, to get our dart intake at the shoulder, you're going to measure from M point to E point, that is from here to here. And then you're going to measure your shoulder length measurement plus 1/8 of an inch. My own shoulder length measurement plus 1/8 of an inch is 10.8 centimeters. And my length of M to E is 19.6 centimeters. And when I subtract 10.8 centimeters from 19.6 centimeters, it gives me 8.8 centimeters. And that is the 8.8 I'm going to share in between the stats. So I'm going to have 4.4 centimeters and 4.4 centimeters on either side of my dart. And that's exactly what I have done here. As you can see, I've already marked it there and there. And then I'm going to now join it to the apex. Now you're going to need a tracing wheel. I didn't mention this in the beginning, but a tracing wheel is so vital in pattern drafting. I'll have a link below this video for you to purchase this from Amazon if you're interested in buying it, in case you don't have it. It's an affiliate link. So with this tracing wheel, I'm going to be tracing from point R to point J, so that this line will be on the back side of the paper. Remember that this paper is folded. Also trace this short intake at K. Trace the bust level and also trace the waist level. Then when you're done, you just open it. And you're going to trace this shoulder, this particular one that is nearest to the neck. We are going to trace it using the tracing wheel. Now fold your pattern at the bust point. Then we are going to fold in this dart, and we are going to fold it down and hold it down with sellotape. And then we're going to use a red biro, and we're going to connect M to E. I hope you're following. We are going to trace this new shoulder line with a tracing wheel. Now when you're done with that, you're now going to come from point G, and you're going to measure your front width depth measurement. My front width depth measurement is 11.4 centimeters. And then from that 11.4, you're going to measure off square of a line. The line must be on the same level. Square up a line, and that is going to be your front chest width divided by 2. My front chest width divided by 2 is 16.5 centimeters. So I'm going to draw 16.5 centimeters. And that is my 16.5 centimeters. Now G, to this particular point, I'm going to label it point N. And from point N to this point, I'll mark this point as point O. So what we are going to do now, we are going to draw our arm curve. We are going to join point M to point O to point K using our French curve. That is part 1 of our video of how to create your basic body block, having a shoulder dart and a waist dart. Congratulations. In the next video, I'm going to be creating the back part of this same block with a shoulder dart and a waist dart. So stay tuned for the second video, which is the part 2 of this video. I'll put the link directly below this video so that I can go ahead and watch it and complete the package on how to actually create a basic body block having a shoulder dart and a waist dart. If you notice that I mentioned things like 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, if you're new to pattern drafting and you do not know how to take these measurements with your pattern rulers or your tape, I'll link a video right here, and I'll also link it below this video so that you can go watch that to learn how to understand your pattern rulers and how to actually read those fractions. So thank you for watching and stay tuned for the next video.